All right, just a little more editing on this video for a moment. I'm just going to play it from this point in. All I've done so far is I've dropped in the rest of the videos in order, and then I just took the suspenseful music and I pushed it out till the spring music ended. So I'm just going to start down the ways a little bit, and we're going to push play. So we got some little music there, and then as the boys run up to this door, there's our suspenseful music cutting in there. We got this crazy looking dude in a mask. They're pretty scared apparently. Good guy comes in, keeps him from being beheaded. And this is kind of hokey. So they start running, and then they look and they say, come on. And then they start running again, which is odd. So something like that's got to leave. And then they go inside, discover treasure. It's actually just candy. It looks like candy, but cool beans. So we'll call it good. So let's go back here and let's take that one hokey part out and let's put some sound effects in. So number one, we're going to pull back to this, and this part here, they're scared. And then right here, see what happens here? They're sitting there, and watch what happens. They start to run, and then they notice, hey, there's a gap. Let's start to run. And then they start to run again. So we've got to do something with that. So let's talk about, we'll just do it this way. So again, I'm going to go over here to this one before he says, hey, I've got an idea. And I might make this a little bigger by, again, going down in this corner and pulling a little bit. So I'm going to do a few things to this clip. Okay, number one, let's take a look at see what's happening here, the action. So this first action here, right where this is happening, I'm going to create a marker. And this marker tile here is going to be called punch. And we're going to call it done. And then there's another marker that we'll pull out a little bit here where their swords clash. And right about here, their swords clash. So again, I'm going to create another marker by hitting add marker. And I'm going to call this one swords. And hit done. Okay, so now I got two markers where I want to put some media. So again, I go up here to my media. I go over to where it says audio. In the audio, there's a couple. Oh, actually, this one's actually in the media. Normally, most of them would be in the audio, but I remember them being down here. So there's one called Big Sword Shing, and I think that's where the swords clash. So I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to move it and line it up the best I can with the swords marker. And then there's another one up here somewhere called Punch, maybe. Where's it at? Big body punch, there it is. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to line it up with this marker here. So I tried to line the punch up with the punch marker and the swords up with the swords marker. So in general, did that even go in? Let me grab it again. Big body punch, pull it down. There we go. So we should have two sound effects in there. And now, sadly, the whole swords thing going on, it kind of happens after. I'm going to bring it over here. Let's just play it and you'll see what I'm talking about for a minute. So if I play it, and here's a big sword. And wow, we didn't hear that at all. The audio's down too far. I guess I'm going to have to bring the audio up on that. I might have had to put it in audio 3. So we're going to go backwards a little bit here. I might shrink this down. Shrink it down. Go back behind here. There's my swords. The kids run through. And I guess all I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of doing the whole come on, let's go thing, since I don't want to mess around with that, I'm going to go back here. And the part where he says, come on, let's go, I don't think we need the come on, let's go. So I'm just going to click on this clip and just straight up delete it. And then this clip here, they've already started. So again, let's remember, in this clip here, when they run, they've already started running. Boom, they're starting. And in fact, one guy's head's down, he's already starting to go. So all I got to do from there is I'm going to go into this clip. And I'm going to figure out that right there is actually not bad. His head's down. He's ready to go. So again, I can do this one of two ways. I can either just make it 2 clips and delete the first one, or if you hover over this, once you get, see where it says click and drag, so I could click and I could drag this up into where I think it goes. And so again, right when his head goes down, we'll call this good. And now I just got to put these things back together. So again, I'm going to zoom out this time. And as I zoom out, you'll see there's a gap there. So what I can do is I can go on the top ones here, and I can highlight the top things. And I don't want to highlight that one, but I've highlighted the top things. And if I right click on any one of them, it says close gaps. So it's closed all the gaps in the video. So now if we go right before we edit it and we run it again, body punch, swords. Kids, I missed it a little bit, so we're going to have to go back in and edit that again, but you get the basic concepts, right? The other thing we could do is if we don't want the spring, because right now the spring would come in really loud because I had to make it louder for this. So obviously we could do this another way. We could just go through and then add a new audio title and add audio 3 and say, okay. So now we could actually bring the spring thing down here in audio 3 instead, and I could really bring that down again. So again, here's some other ways we can edit it, and we've showed a couple other things. Like I said, I did miss that one a little bit. I should go back in and edit it a little bit, but I think you get the basic concepts. And if I cut off too much or if I cut off too little or whatever else, again, I can just bring the whole clip back in again. I can delete this one, bring the whole clip in the gap, and then take care of business again. So that's probably good for the day. And if we're going to do another one, we'll probably do one on maybe adding text or doing some sort of slide transitions.